Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity to practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, now so welcome to back to the Reframe Mindset podcast. My name is Colin Smith Brooks, and basically, the start off to be start off me very funny. That's basically I cook some food there, and but I never cook any meat. So basically cook the food portion would be some dumpling and yams. And basically, I said, okay, in the morning, I'm going to cook the meat because, the it was late in the night and I want to eat late. It never make any sense to actually wait for the meat to cook because it would take a while. So wake up in the morning, fresh and ready to cook the meat. Basically, what happened? Yo, no water. No water. I'm like, what? What? So I was like, yo. So when I went outside and checked the tank is empty. Empty. So luckily I have like two tanks, but the the, the tank that is connected is empty and the other one wasn't connected. So basically, luckily I have some, but basically what I had to do was get somebody that know to change the tank, that kind of set it up, to come actually change it and set up the other one. So I have water now, but basically I started off me with almost not having any water, and it basically made me come up with made this episode just come to me, which is basically owning your place so far feels like you being a CEO of a business. Or, but in this case, it's basically you're the CEO of where you're living. And basically, why I say is that being the CEO of where you're living is that you have to be basically prepared for all the things that can go wrong. And being ill prepared when these problems arise, because they will pop up when you least want it to. Because like you hear this scenario just now, but this is not the only thing. You have things like sometimes my light goes away, and it's not due to not paying or such like that. It's just routine. Where I'm from, it's just routine, like just going away and such like that. The internet going out due to some problem. All these things just come up randomly, and then not all kind of stuff. So basically, all these things will happen to you, and most times it will happen to you when you least want it to. But basically, you being ill prepared for these problems when they arise unexpectedly will either make you react emotionally to a problem that if you kind of thought about it rationally or logically, you could easily maybe solve the problem or not overreact. But if you react emotionally to the problem, you overreact and then act irrationally and then make the problem worse. And that's how basically from my whole experience now so far, like the first year of your home ownership is you basically learning about the house, finding out where you want to put the things that you have, in which place you want to put it, because it's a long process. It's a long process of you getting the whole house to be becoming your home, the place that you in your safe haven. It's a long process. So the first year is basically you learning and reacting and such like that. Then I think, because I haven't reached second year yet, but what the smart way to think about it is that going through one basically learning and exploring the first year, the second year should be the maintenance should be more significantly easier, as certain things will become routine, and sometimes you only need to deal with some things maybe once or twice a year, some things you know how to do yourself, because basically basically what will happen with like the first year, you'll have to have professionals actually dealing with all the problems that we have. So, for example, like electricity problem, you'll have to get an electrician, plumber, with a plumbing. But speaking of the plumbing, I kind of, from my last experience where I was at, I kind of learned some plumbing stuff. So, not maybe I don't know all of it. I don't know how to do many of the actual in-depth stuff, but basically simple things like unclogging a toilet or some other basic stuff. I don't really need to call somebody for that. So what I was saying is basically, the first year you may have to pay professional to deal with these problems, but by the second year you'll be able to recognize common problems and maybe able to solve some of them without hiring help. So basically, so far my experience is the first year is going to be you just learning and reacting and just trying to survive and just try to make it to that second year, because you're going to learn bills, the long tax. You have to just push through, because once you just get through that first year, you know. So the first year, basically, you just learning and reacting, trying to survive. But hopefully, the second year now will be more proactive, and the maintenance will be easier as you have experience fixing the problem and you will expect certain things, and then problems that are out of your control, you learn not to overreact when they occur. So similar to like running a business where you are responsible for the daily running of the business, and your daily responsibility of being the CEO of the business is to make sure that you don't go bankrupt or close down. So like one of my where I mentioned in one of my previous episodes, which is renting versus owning, where I said owning is better, but riskier. Likewise, owning is like being the CEO of a business where the payoff of being your own boss is great, but the journey to becoming your own boss is hard and risky. It's like, all those, like you watch those billionaire videos and things like that, and you see the billionaire lifestyle, and you said, and that just gets you motivated to want to become a entrepreneur and business owner, but they don't realize that the work that they took to become that made that $1 billion business, that $1 billion empire, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of close call, a lot of close to bankruptcy and such like that. The same thing with the house. It's the same thing with home ownership. It's going to be one of the risk. So far, is one of the riskiest thing that I'm ever doing. Every day is something new, but I'm, as I said before, I'm in too deep. I can't back out now. You can't back out now. So basically, I'm just telling you things that you can look out for when it's your time to actually make the decision, so that it may not be as risky for you as well. But the thing about it, what I like about it, is that if I just simply make it to the second things, I'm doing other things in the background to actually allow me to ease the burden. So that's the good thing about it. And I'm doing my little moving and such like that to actually get the vision of my home. What vision? Cause something I like to do. I like to see my environment a certain way. That's something I like. I realize, and I like my own space, and I like the idea of seeing it my own space a certain way. So while this journey has been a very hard manual labor type of thing, when you see the vision come to life, it's very fulfilling. It's very fulfilling, man. So basically, that's it for this episode, yo. Only, only when you make that first purchase, yo, it's like you're starting a business. Starting a business is like, yo, your responsibility is to not get foreclosed on. As you make that purchase and you get that key, your goal is to not. Yeah, so this is something that good thing to actually look forward to before you make that purchase. So thank you for listening, and I look forward for the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
Very important that everyone should know about. And it's basically time. Time is one of those. It's one of the most valuable resource ever. And it's one of those things that people always say time is very important, but yeah, if you really sit down and think about it, like, bro, time is truly valuable. It's like, I see something, and until now I understood it, but bro, now on this journey that I'm on, I truly understand it. Where they say like, yo, all the money in the world can't buy you a second of time, and it's one of those things that when you fully embrace that, you truly understand how valuable time is. So, and on this